how to process payments during calls with AI voice agents. That's what you'll learn today in this video.
We have availability for your selected dates, April 17th to April 20th. The price per night is $300. Please enter your card number, expiration date, and the 3-digit security code using the keypad.
I'm done, Vicky.
Felipe, your payment has been successfully processed and your reservation is now confirmed.
An AI voice agent that can process payments during calls is one of the most valuable skills that an agent can have. So without extending myself too much, let's jump right into the demo of the agent. Before doing that, if you are new to the channel, my name is Felipe Leguizamon, and I'm here to help you learn how to create AI voice agents. On the other hand, if you're a business owner trying to implement a system like this into your business, down here in the description, I'll be leaving you the link of my calendar so you can schedule a call with me and we can deep more into your needs. Now let's show the demo of the agent. As you have seen in the thumbnail, we'll be using PayPal for the processing of the payments during the call. Specifically, we'll be using the sandbox mode, which is the testing mode of PayPal.
Good day. This is Vicky from Hilton, New York. How may I help you today?
Hello, Vicky. I was looking to book in the hotel. Could you help me with that, please?
Of course. Could you let me know your check-in and check-out dates, please?
Yeah, I was thinking about visiting the city between the 17th of April until the 20th.
Please hold on a moment while I check availability for you. Great news. We have availability for your selected dates, April 17th to April 20th. The price per night is $300. Would you like to proceed with the reservation?
Yeah, please.
To confirm your reservation, a 30% deposit of $270 is required. You can make the payment during this call and the process is 100% secure. May I have your full name and email address to proceed?
Sure, my full name is Felipe Leguizamon. My last name is spelled like Leguizamon. And my email address is philip.legui@gmail.com.
Thank you, Felipe. Just to confirm, your full name is Felipe Leguizamon, and your email address is philip.legui@gmail.com. Is that correct?
Exactly.
All right, Felipe. Please enter your card number, expiration date in the format MMYIYY, and the 3-digit security code using the keypad. Once you've entered all the details, just say done to continue.
Whoa, is this secure or not? Because right now I'm a bit afraid.
I completely understand your concern. Rest assured, we use encryption to protect your data. Please go ahead and enter your card number, expiration date in MMYYY format, and the 3-digit security code using the keypad. Once you're done, just say done to continue.
All right, hold up a moment. I'm putting the numbers. I'm done, Vicky.
I'm already processing the transaction. Felipe, your payment has been successfully processed and your reservation is now confirmed. You'll receive an email shortly with all the details. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, nothing else. Thank you, Vicky. Goodbye. Now, if I go to the PayPal account of the hotel, I can find the payment that I did. Here it is, my name, Felipe Leguizamon, and the amount. And as you heard during the call, the agent told me that she will send information via email. So if I go to my email, here is the email and it says your reservation has been successful. Thank you for your reservation and more information about it. But we also send an internal email. So every time a guest confirms the booking, we will receive an email. So here we got an email. It says new confirmed reservation, Hilton, New York. First name, Felipe, last name, Leguizamon. This is the email and all the details. So now we get to the interesting part. This is all the conversational flow of the agent. I know you can see nothing right now, but in first place, we will check the general prompt. In first place, we got the role of the agent, its name and the task it will develop during the call. Then a bit of the task and the response guidelines in here. Then we give the context about the hotel, its rooms, the amenities it has, nearby attractions in case the user asks, and additional services. And finally, we got the notes and pronunciation rules, which are very important. Now getting into the conversational flow, we got the first note, the welcome note, where we tell the agent he needs to say, good day, this is Vicky from Hilton, New York, how may I help you today? And this can go to different places, different notes or states. We can go to this note in case the user wants more information about the hotel, but if the user wants to book a bedroom, for example, it will jump right into this note, where we'll be determining the check-in and check-out date that the user wants in the hotel. Again, we also set the conditions to jump to the next node. And once the agent identifies those conditions, we go to the first function that we got, in where we will be checking availability of the rooms of the hotel. Don't worry about the function because I'll be showing it at the final part of the conversational flow. So don't worry about that. Then we inform the user if there are available rooms for the dates that he chose. And if he wants to book for those dates, we jump to the next node, in which we inform the user that he needs to deposit a 30% of the total of the reservation. And before going into the next node, we ask for the user his full name and email address. And here we got the conditions to go to the next nodes. We can go in two directions in here. First, we got the option in where the user does not want to book, and the second one, he wants to book. So, as I wanted to book during the call, the agent kindly asked me to enter my card details. If the user accepts, we jump to the node of press digit, in which in here, the agent will gather the digits that I pressed in my keypad. After saying done, the agent processes the transaction calling the execute booking function, that again I'll be showing in the final part of the conversational flow. After executing that function, we go to the final node, where we inform the user that his payment has been successful and proceed to send all the details of his reservation to his email. And finally, we ask him if he has more questions, and in case he has more questions, the agent will answer them. But if he doesn't have more questions, it will proceed to say goodbye and then end the call. As I was saying, here we got two functions. The first one, we look for room availability in the hotel, and here we got this function. We got the URL of the webhook that we will be sending information to, and then we got the JSON, which is very simple. We are just sending the check-in date and the checkout date in a specific format. Here is the description of the check-in date that the agent will have to gather, and then the checkout date is the same. Then we have the execute booking function, which is a bit more complex. In here we add also the URL of the webhook that we will be sending the information to. And then this is the JSON that we asked the agent to gather the information. As required, we send the check-in date, checkout date, name, last name, email, card number, expiration month, expiration year, security number, and the currency in which the transaction will be made. So if you want to copy this JSON, I'll be leaving it here, so I'll go slow so you can copy it. Here we got the expiration year, the amount, the card number, that pay attention here because the description is very important. Then we have the security number, also very important, check-in date, name of the user, expiration month, last name, currency, checkout date, email, and that's all. Now going with the really interesting part, here we got the first automation. But before seeing the first automation, we jump right into the database because it's very important that I explain it if I want you to get all the information of the automation, the conversational flow, and the database. We got 4 tables. In the first table, we got the payments, in which we have the reservation ID, payment ID, amount, status, modification date, and the guests. That this column is related to the second table, to the table of the guests. In the table of guests, we'll have all the information of the guests. Here we got his name, last name, reservation ID, which is related to the first table that we saw. Then the check-in date, checkout date, deposit payment, the status of this transaction, the payment ID, which is very important, email address, and phone number. After the first 2 tables, we got the availability table, which the automation will check in here to see if there are available rooms in the hotel for the dates that the user selected. Here we got the property ID, which is in Spanish, but never mind. Then we got the date, the available rooms, and the status. This column tells us the amount of available rooms that there are in certain day. Here we got in the 15th of April, we got 1 room, 16th of April, 5 rooms, and so on. And in the last table, we got just 3 columns. In the first one, we got nights, price per night, and the category. This column tells us the amount of nights that the user will stay in the hotel. So depending on the amount of nights that he will stay, we can say the price per night and also the category he will be in. Now coming back to the automation, we got the webhook that we receive information from the agent. We're receiving the check-in date and check-out date that the user wants in the hotel. And then we pass that information into this set node, in which we tell the agent the next. First, we are renaming the variable of check-in date, then the checkout date. And in these 2 variables, in the first one, we got the nights that we are just saying the amount of nights that the user will stay in the hotel. So this will work for making the calculation of the price per night that the user will pay. Here you got expression if you want to copy it. And then we got the last night variable. Here you can see this is the expression if you want to copy it, so you can replicate it. After renaming and setting new variables, we add and search record in our table for looking availability in the hotel. And in this node, we are filtering by this formula. In here, we are telling the automation that the check-in date must be less or equal than the date available in the column of the table. And we also add another condition that the checkout date must be higher or equal as the column date. And finally, we're telling the automation that the available rooms must be higher than 0, because if it's equal to 0, there are no available rooms for certain date that the user selected. After that, we add an if node in which we tell if there are availability in the hotel, we will choose this path, but if not, we go through this. Here we got a condition that we tell the automation in the node. Here we got an expression that it's native. Why? Because if the search node in our table returns us all the bundles available depending on the date that the user told us, we can compare it to the variable of nights, because nights is the amount of nights that the user will stay in the hotel. So let's say that the search node returned to us 3 items. So the amount of nights must be 3 items. That means that the user will stay in the hotel 3 nights. If that condition is matched, then we will choose this path and we'll go for another search node in which we'll be looking for the price per night to tell the user. Here we got a formula that is way more simple than the one that we saw before. And we are looking in the column of nights in the table of rates, the amount of nights that the user will stay. So as I told the agent that I was staying 3 nights in the hotel, here we got 3 nights, $300. And as a category, we got the luxury getaway. And finally, we got the response to webhook to inform the agent if there are available slots for in the hotel or not. As in this path, it's supposed to be available. Here we inform the agent that there is availability in the hotel, then the price per night, the category, and the nights the user will stay in the hotel. If there is no availability, we'll inform the agent the next. Here we got availability. There is no availability for the dates that the user requested. Now we got automation where things get interesting. I'll say a disclaimer before explaining all this automation. This automation is in the front end, not the back end. If you want to process payments correctly, following the standards of the PCI, we need to send all the card details of the user to a backend. This means if you want to deploy a system like this for processing payments, we need to program, we need to code. But here in N8N, we are replicating the exact same system that we should follow in the backend. First, we receive all the information from the webhook that the agent sent to us, and we got these 3 HTTP requests. In the first one, we are generating a token in PayPal. Why we need to generate a token? We need to generate a token because when processing payments, we cannot be sending the information of the card details of the user. It's not correct to do that because we are compromising the user, and that's not what we want. Before sending the information, we need to create a token that replicates the card. But as we create a token, it's not dangerous information. Then we create an order in PayPal with this token, and then we need to capture the payment, in our account. After capturing the payment, we inform the agent that the payment was successful, and then we start to updating the database. In the first node, we got the following. First, as method, you need to choose post. Then the URL is this one. You need to copy this exact same URL. Then, as authentication, you need to add a generic credential type. Generic auth type must be basic auth. And then as basic auth, here you need to create a new one. Here you see a ton of credentials, and that's because when using sandbox mode in PayPal, a credential created just lasts like around 7 or 8 hours. So if you are proving the system, you need to test and test. And if you want to create a credential using PayPal Sandbox, you need to go to your account, first put the sandbox mode in PayPal, then go into app and credentials, and in there you need to create an app. You create an app, select the business account that you want to receive the payment in, and then you need to copy the client ID and the secret ID. In here, you'll need to put the client ID, but in password, it's very important that you follow the next. You must go to this website, and in here you'll put your client ID, and you add this, and the next, you need to put the secret ID. All together, of course. It's very important that you put all these together. Then you encode it and copy the code, and you need to add it in here. First, in password, you will need to add basic, and then copy the code. So this would look like this: basic and encode. That's all. You put save and you will have your credential created. Then we need to enable the send body option. Choose form or URL encoded. Specify body using single field. And then as body, you need to put grant type equal client credentials. It's very important that you put this. If not, it won't work. In the second request, we got the create order, in which we got as method post. And then in the URL, we choose this one. Very important that you follow and put this URL. If not, it won't work. Then enable the options of send headers and add the authorization, bearer, and the access token that you create before in here. So you need to add the access token here in the following node. We also add another item in which we'll name as content type, and value will add application JSON. We also put another item, and here we put as name PayPal request ID. Put it exactly like this, and then as value we add this expression. We also enable the option of sending a body. You put body content type JSON using JSON, and here it's the body. The intent must be captured, the purchase units, amount, currency code, value, that the value must be the amount that the user will be paying, and then the description. Then we got the most important node, which is the capture payment, so you can receive the payment in your PayPal account. In here, we do not put exactly an URL, we choose as method post, but in URL, we need to add an expression that we receive from the create order. For explaining this in a better way, I came to the executions, so you can see how it actually looks. When you create a URL, you need to add an expression from the create order node. In here, as you can see, we got 4 URLs. So the one you need to choose is this one, the one that says capture. So you need to drag and drop this expression in here, and that's all you need to do. Then we enable the option of send headers. Here we got 3 items again: the authorization, bearer, the access token that we create, then the content type, application JSON, the PayPal request ID, and the expression of date now. In the JSON, we also must enable the option of sending the body. Here we got a JSON. Using JSON, it's very important that you copy it exactly as you see it in here. We got the payment source, then the card, the number of the card, the expiry of the card, the CVV, and the name. If you change a letter or something from here, the request will end up in an error. Copy it exactly as you see it in here. And it's very important that in expiry, you put it in the following manner. First, the expiration year, separated by this sign, and then the expiration mode. Then we inform to the agent that the payment was successful, simply this message, and then we start updating the database. In here, we will create a reservation ID using heal and date.now. Then the payment ID that will be created from the previous requests, then the amount that we capture in the payment, the status of the payment, and the modification date. This means when the payment was made. Then we look for the reservation ID so we can gather all that information from the table and put it in another table. Here we rename the variable, the reservation ID, we are renaming it, and then we add guests rows. We are creating new records in the guests column. Here we are just updating all the information of the user. Here we got his name, last name, reservation ID, check-in date, checkout date, deposit payment, this means the amount, the status, processed, the payment ID, the email, and the phone number of the user. Arriving into the final, we got the format date node, which is code. Don't worry about this because we are just formatting the date. So then in the node of the email, we can send the information of the date in a more readable manner. Finally, we got a Gmail node in which we are sending an internal message. Here it is to my email, my personal email, subject new booking, and email type is HTML. This is the entire HTML. Don't worry about it because you can go to Claude and then you explain the context of the version that you are creating and tell him to create an HTML code for the node. That's all you need to do. You need to add and replace the variables in here, and that's all. And finally, we got the external message. This message will inform the user that his booking was made successfully. Here we got the mail of the user, the expression of the mail of the user. Then as subject, we add your reservation has been successful. And we also add an HTML. Thank you very much for watching the video until now, and see you on the next one. If you want me to create certain agents, just drop the comment here in the description and I will be preparing the video for the next occasion.